So today is a very bittersweet day for us. Rob, you've been with us for 5 years, and actually having time to think about it. I mean, looking back over those past 5 years, the word that comes to mind for me is impact. Right? You made a huge impact from day one. Your commitment not only as in conversations that we have. Really not about work, but a lot of times it tends to go back to that. And, your commitment with our core values, the commitment to the frog and building the brand of the frog. It's just, that part of it. And, our mission statement. So, I mean, it just, and as for me, anytime we have a conversation or anytime we talk, it seems like all roads lead back to those, to those topics, and your belief in that, and it really, as I've gotten to know you, it's always everything that the reason everything resonates with you so well is because that's what you believed in, when you came here, when you joined the Preston Automotive Group family. It wasn't as structured and wrapped up and the way but you believe in everything all the way from, and I was thinking about our 6 core values. My first question to you on that, because is on our core values for you, what's the most important one of our core values?
Most important one would be community for me. Yeah.
That would have been the one I'd have guessed, but can you go ahead with?
Yeah, I think, obviously reflecting over the past 5 years, COVID impacted the early part of my career very quickly, right? Joined August 2019, and then all of a sudden there's just this curveball in March of 2020. And the position that I was in was we didn't know what was going on, as most people, and as a business perspective, and you're taking reductions in marketing, and you don't feel right to be on TV or whatnot as you're trying to navigate the waters. But the one thing that we did do was, well, how can we double down on community? How can we do a Healthcare Heroes program that brands didn't come out with their support, and we're doing free oil changes, disinfecting people's cars, all complimentary for anyone with a ID, and offering additional cash towards purchasing a vehicle. David just doubled down on what can we do. We'll do free gas for healthcare workers to show your ID, and doing the transit vans to get meals to kids at home because they're not at school anymore. But the company decided to loan those vans out. So those were just incredible things that you learned quickly, that this company will always support the community, and that it's tremendous and makes you extremely proud to wear Preston on your shirt. Yeah.
Well, you definitely bring up a great point, because when you came into the position, it definitely maybe that's what switched your roles so quickly and so often was we'll keep blaming we'll blame the COVID transition on that, but it definitely changed the perspective of looking at things for all of us, and it definitely got you involved a lot more early on in a lot of those community efforts. And we definitely want to thank you because over the 5 years, we couldn't have done a lot of those programs without you, and a lot of those programs were created because of you and some of the ideas that we came up with. And one of the biggest things that I always say when people ask about your impact to the company is, over those 5 years, the answer was always yes, and then it was, what was the question? I think sometimes that was to a fault, because you definitely absorbed those things. You were like a sponge, and you took on those responsibilities first and foremost. But whenever there was a task that needed to be completed, no matter if it was marketing related or something else, we knew that if you got that task, that it was going to be 100% completed. And that's something that was invaluable to our company and our growth over the years. Because if you look at Preston's growth, our biggest growth period was over the 5 years that you've been a member of the Preston Automotive Group. And a lot of those startups, a lot of those things along the way, a lot of the information we had to get to the manufacturers couldn't have been done without your support and your help. And your knowledge coming from the OEM and having those relationships and those partnerships and that trust to begin with were instrumental in our growth over the years, with some of that growth being Ford to start, then transitioning to CDJR, to our latest acquisition or latest store opening with the store in Millsboro with Hyundai. As Dad will always remember, the BOGO deal that you guys worked up. But the good news is we got one. So we, at the end of the day, we got what we wanted, and you were a huge part of getting us to that point. So can't thank you enough for that and the partnerships and the relationships that you've created over the 5 years that you've been with the Preston Automotive Group.
Yeah, and I tell you, for the other thing with me, and you, David, you just touched on it. I mean, it used to be on the bottom of job descriptions, you know, if there was a catch-all for everything. There definitely wouldn't need to be on the bottom of yours, because, you know, we would, you know, we would look at a lot of things with your strengths, and the fact that you came at things with urgency, you know, the fact of you define teamwork, you know, and for me that, you know, for me that's huge. And, you know, we did, you know, over the past 5 years, I know that we, you know, we appreciate everything, and we appreciate the fact that, you know, never did you say, it was funny that, you know, you used the experiential standard that I was going to use, and we didn't even, you know, we didn't even talk about it. I mean, you know, never did you say it's not my job, you know, never did you, you know, it was, you know, we always, even though we asked the question, we knew you were going to, you know, we knew you would say yes. And then the finished product was huge, you know, the attention to detail. I look back at, you know, what we presented some of the manufacturers, the way that we came at Hyundai, you know, the way that, you know, we, you know, over what, a 4-year period, we had, you know, we had to pitch it with a lot of different twists, you know, and, you know, we came, you know, we came at them a whole different way. My favorite story, and I'm so glad, and you know, I'm so glad that we got to spend that time together, was, you know, I didn't realize, you know, I always say persistence overcomes resistance every day, but I didn't realize your persistence level when we went to go see a gentleman, well, actually the decision maker at Hyundai, the final decision maker. We went to see him at a cocktail party, and you know, sometimes I'm a little shy. You know, Rob got a description, figured out who it was, and next thing I know, he was talking to the guy. You know, and then, you know, in that part of it, that's where we learned the term BOGO, right? I mean, that's, you know, but, and like you said, we got one, we'll get another. But the, you know, that part of it, you know, doing that, you know, he would have never been able to put a name to a face, you know, unless, you know, really, unless you done that, even though he had a picture. But he would have never been able to put a personality in our commitment to it. And, you know, he was probably the most popular guy in the room, and you weave through it, you know, you weave through it, and you, I'm sure the CEO probably wouldn't like that, but he definitely was probably the most popular guy in the room because everybody wanted to talk to him. So, you know, for that, I thank you. And I really do, you know, for me, again, the finished product is huge because, you know, you always looked at that attention to detail, and I know you will. And like you and I discussed, and I know you and David discussed, it, we know you'll, you know, you'll carry that on into your family business, you know what I mean? And that's, for us, it's a huge loss, but we know that, you know, we know that for you, I mean, you're, you know, looking forward to working with your family. I know that, and you'll always be family to us. So, for some odd reason, if you decide you all are seeing too much of each other, you know, we've always got a door here. So,
I think the other thing that whenever we talked in the past, and I know it's been our mascot for a long time, but
2 years already.
yeah. But when we talk about the frog, I know the frog meant a lot to you before coming onto the Preston Automotive Group. What would you say that after being here for 5 years, that the frog means the most to you?
Oof. Yeah, that's a big one. It is our Mickey Mouse for sure. Like it's just such a, and I think when it really hit me the first time when I was starting to talk with partners about doing community events or sponsoring events like Waterfowl or Fire and Ice and Bronco Beach Bash, they wanted the frog as part of their event. Like they would, it was before they talked to another dealer group, let's talk to Preston because of what the frog means in the community. And I quickly learned that, and I was like, this is an incredible brand. That obviously the frog was born in '84, and it's a really, really cool story, especially a marketing story, and at the soul of it too, which is really cool, with the leap year tie. But it's, I mean, to build up a brand that other people want to be a part of takes decades to accomplish, and so that. And a team effort too, right? There's 700 plus employees at this time, and everyone has to represent themselves well in the community and everything. And so for your family to achieve that is incredible. So I think that's a really cool part of this company. Yeah.
Well, I definitely will say that over the last 5 years, I think we've accomplished a lot together, and knowing you for even longer with your previous time at Ford Motor Company, it's been impactful on our family for sure. One of the ultimate signs of for my father, and I know this for sure, and he'll agree once I say it, but sometimes when you become that yes man and you do 100% of the things, you find tasks, because Dad's biggest thing is finding someone that is going to finish the play. So the ultimate compliment from my father is when he is giving you tasks, because there's some people inside our organization will say that he's kind of left them to the side, and that might be because they didn't finish something for him in the past. But he knew that anything that he challenged you with, that you were going to take it on and you were going to make sure it got accomplished. And we truly appreciate that, because like I said, over the past 5 years, there's so many things that would have been done differently and taken a lot more resources if you didn't step up and help out so much with getting us to this point. So we definitely want to say thank you. As Dave started with it's definitely a bittersweet day for us, because you truly mean so much, not only to the Preston Automotive Group and our associates, but to the Wilson family, the Marks family, the Snyder family. We truly love you like family, Rob, and thank you for everything that you've done.
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you guys. It's been a privilege and a chance of a lifetime, and I don't take it lightly. So thank you so much for everything.